All right, so we're going to try uploading videos for each day and covering the content and going over the lecture notes. And then the Google meetings will be used to complete any other activities or answer any questions. It's my hope that you'll watch these videos before the lecture and you'll be able to know the content and come with any questions you may have over any specifics. And you may even be able to get started with some of your assignments for the day. So as always, every day starts with the required attendance form and the Google Meet link. Depending on which section you're in, that's going to be what time you'll be joining the Google Meet link. And that will be distributed during via email tomorrow morning before class starts. So the day for each day is in the top left corner of this cell. It says 1.1, and that refers to the section in notes. And notes are going to be using this format here. Obviously not physical science, but you can change that to environmental engineering. Type your name at the top, and then change the unit to environmental science, which is unit 1. And topic 1 for 1.1, environmental science. This section here will be used to complete terms with important vocabulary definitions. You also include formulas or important dates or historical characters. And then the question section on the side, you might include, your own thoughts, specific questions you may have, anything that relates to the content. There are 2 provided, 1.2 here, but if you need to copy and paste and continue on, if there's, depending on how many sections for that unit, but you want to save this in your folder. And I might suggest the date, numerical, then unit 1 notes and your last name, and then save that in your folder. And those will be organized pretty well if you do it that way. So the warm-up and the exit tickets assignments are questions that are posted on discussion board forums, and there is a writing rubric linked within that assignment, which will show you how those will be graded. It's only worth 2 points each day, but those assignments will add up, so take the time to complete that discussion board. Right now you're just posting to the discussion board, but in the future you may be asked to complete other activities, including posting to other individuals' posts. The math review assignment, detailed step-by-step instructions on how to complete that, and there's going to be part 1, part 2, and part 3 for the week. Definitely, if you're struggling with any of those areas of math, reach out to me, any of your other coaches or other students. It is a review math, so it should be something that you've covered in a prior class. So the notes are linked here at the top of the page, and we're going to get started with the first section, environmental science. So this is unit 1. And I'm hoping this is recording. I'll just go through it this way. So you want to think about the interconnectedness of different aspects of environmental science and how it relates to culture, technology, all of these different aspects of human life have a huge impact on organisms and groups of organisms. And some of the topics that we're going to cover in depth are also going to relate to things that we've covered in other classes or that you may have some familiarity with. But these are the main topics in environmental science. So this is an interesting map here. I would like to blow it up a little larger, hoping you can see this. So who supplies Europe? This is kind of an interesting look at European power. They do not supply their own power. They actually get power from other countries around them, whether it's coal, oil, whatever power resources they're using. They're either trading or purchasing that from outside imports. And because they are doing this, they are dependent on all of these countries around them for their entire economy. And this is an issue of concern for a country when they're completely dependent on outside resources. Especially with the pandemic, if countries decide not to trade with them, they will be without power at a certain point. So it's definitely an interesting thought as far as the way things are moving. And then we also have concerns, the four main areas of global concern, which is human population growth, global climate change, ecosystem destruction, and loss of biodiversity. So there's a pragmatic resource conservationist, George Perkins Marsh, and he influenced Theodore Roosevelt and Gifford Pinchot. These utilitarian conservationists kind of coined these terms, utilitarian or figuring out the value in the ecological paradigm. So the greatest good for the greatest number and the longest time. And they provided a lot of policies for the U.S. Forest Service because at the time, many people were cutting down trees for themselves or, for the value of the tree, but not considering the long-term effects that might have. You also have John Muir, president of the Sierra Club, and there is Muir Woods in California, which is a preserve, but these are the large redwood trees in California that almost went extinct. But he kind of stated that nature deserves to exist for its own sake, regardless of how useful it is. And it's not a popular idea at the time, so that's why he's honored with the naming of that the Muir Woods Forest. And you can see these trees are quite large. So modern environmentalism kind of sprung from ideas in the 60s and 70s. Rachel Carson wrote the book Silent Spring, which kind of spurred the environmental movement, especially after the burning of the Cuyahoga River in Ohio, a big environmental disaster which took place. And it kind of led to some of these other issues which expanded the environmental agenda. Currently, 7 billion people, food shortages, water quality issues, landscaping issues. A lot of things that are happening in the world, based on the environmental degradation. And I'm not going to, read through everything in this slide. It's important that you understand what's taking place, but it does talk about the reason there are so many environmental problems. Differentiating resources. Luckily, we're in a country where we have a lot of extra resources, but it does have its consequences. So the next section is going to be on sustainable development, and we'll meet during class to discuss the implications of the things covered in today's notes.